What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Motorman Dan, and we're back with the Bladestaff. The Bladestaff, physical melee weapon that with secondary attack that knocks back multiple targets. Level upgrades is reduced mana cost of the secondary. It's the only thing that costs mana is the secondary. Primary attack heals on hit is one of the unique upgrades. Secondary attack launches higher is the other one. Usually I run primary attack heals on hit because the distance in which you launch them isn't as valuable in my opinion as +5 health per attack. Most of the time, really all the time. I can't think of a time where I would rather use a secondary launch higher thing. Realistically, the only thing that would do, the only benefit it would have is to keep them in the status of launched longer, which is double damage. We'll take a look at that when we take a look at the game files, but I don't know, it doesn't really help that much because, you know, even if they're just launched normally, it's just 25% increase, and that's only of like the distance that they're in the air. That has nothing to do with like their falling animation or standing up animation or anything. So it's really less than like a 25% bonus. And you know, having another way to heal, because you don't passively heal, you have to go to the rift, and if death is a problem for you, then I think the Bladestaff's just better if you go heal. So if you disagree, you know, if you use secondary attack launches higher for any particular reason, please let me know in the comments. But so let's go ahead and jump into the game files. Okay, so when you get the upgrade for health recovery on hit, it's 5 health per hit. Secondary launch speed is 75,000. Don't know what that means. It is what it is. All I know is in relation to the upgrade, the upgrade is 25,000, so it takes it up to 100,000. Again, I don't know what that unit means exactly, but I don't think we'll ever know. The max range of the secondary is away from your character, like around you, to include, I think, above you. At least it affects people above you when you use secondary, but I don't know how far above you it affects. But at least the people in front of you and everything in 900. So 150 is a grid square. Grid square is the size of an archer footprint. And so this is just, so all the enemies within 6 grid squares of your character, probably, I mean, we could test it, but it's probably within an arc in front of the character, or from like where the Bladestaff hits kind of thing. So linearly, you know, with the character facing, it's going to be like across the platform, and then in front of it'll be like a dome shape to go to all the enemies in front of. So it's not going to be like a big box. At least from all the times I've used it, it doesn't appear to be a big box. It's just like a dome shaped thing, possibly even a bit of a circle. But on the back end of the character, it's a little bit shorter because it's from where the Bladestaff hits the ground and not from where the character is standing. So it seems like it doesn't hit as far backwards, even though it's probably the same distance on both. But we'll take a look at that whenever we jump into it. Now the secondary is nice. You know, it's a nice little crowd control ability that we have with the Bladestaff, but it does pretty good damage, and it's got a nice attack speed. And this next part we're going to look at is probably one of the better reasons to use it, because that's a flinch. And what the flinch is, and we talked about this before in previous weapon, what the flinch is basically the enemy stops moving and attacking, right? So you're standing in front of an ogre and you're smacking him with your sword. He has 70% chance to flinch, which means he's not going to attack you or hit you or anything. If he does that, then you're basically able to solo an ogre or troll if you keep getting lucky with that 70%, and they never hit you at all, which is nice. And then we have the primary attack rate of 1, which is 1 times per second. And then primary damage is 36, secondary damage is 40, secondary mana cost is 33. All right, let's go ahead and look at the weapon protos. All right, the weapon protos for the Bladestaff is that it does not headshot. Of course, it's a melee weapon. It's not much else to it. It's a Bladestaff, costs 4 skulls to purchase, and that's it. Now, we will talk about the Bladestaff here. You may notice some people who are using the Bladestaff are going to have the Bladestaff, and then they're also going to have the Overlord Bladestaff. Now, the Overlord Bladestaff they're the same exact weapons, essentially. The Overlord Bladestaff is only through a pre-order content. So you had to pre-order the game when it came out on Steam in order to get the Overlord Bladestaff, as well as 2 skins, one for Egan and one for Kelsey. Now, if you start the game brand new and you have this, then you have this already unlocked and it doesn't cost 4 skulls, but the regular Bladestaff still costs 4 skulls. So the way they did the skin for the weapon is they basically created it as its own weapon. And then you still had to get the damage and everything for it separately compared to the regular Bladestaff. All right, now as I talked about earlier, the status effect that the Bladestaff produces is launched. Launched is when they're airborne or knocked up in the air or falling down the staircase, that sort of thing. When they're ragdolled, if they're not actually like moving towards you or standing up or whatever, they're considered launched. And when they launch, they take double damage from everything: acid, arcane, fire, ice, lightning, and physical. Value 2.0, double damage. And that's essentially all there is. So it's one of the best modifiers in the game. You know, and it now the Bladestaff launched only affects everything under, you know, heavy and lower, so not ogres or anything like that. But it does help really crowd control the small guys. So, you know, it's great. All right, let's look at the upgrades. All right, let's look at the upgrades. We got Weapon Bladestaff level 2, which is the first upgrade. Skull cost to 3, reduces mana cost by 3, taking it down to 30 for the secondary. Reduce mana cost 4 skulls by -3, taking it down to 27. 5 skulls -4 for mana cost. That takes it down to 23. So 23 mana to use a secondary. Really not super necessary, but I guess it's great. I don't know. Primary attack heals on hit. All this does is turn the value to true, which we saw earlier, which basically activates that this value is there. And then the other upgrade is secondary launch speed, 25,000. Like I said, it's basically 25% increase, but it's a little less because this is just the launch speed that they initially, you know, fly up into the air, and it does not count towards the standing up animation or the falling down animation. Therefore, it's a little bit less than 25% bonus, but that's essentially what it is. So, yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it. For the Bladestaff, you know, let me know what your comment or what your thoughts are on the Bladestaff. How much you like it? Do you use it? For me, it's probably the best melee weapon there is. You know, hammer and broadsword are up there, but yeah, let me know how you use it, and if you got any thoughts about it in the comments below. All right, so let's just jump in and take a look at the Bladestaff. What I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to use the Overlord Bladestaff and the regular Bladestaff. The regular Bladestaff has all the level upgrades as well as primary attack seal on hit. The Overlord Bladestaff does not have the level upgrades, but does have secondary attack launches higher. So we can take a look at the difference as we run both of them. Let's just jump into it. All right, so again, we're playing on the first map, North Wing on Grifflord. As you can see, we take damage, we heal it up, we take damage, we heal it up, all right? Boom. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with Egan. 8 with Egan, don't forget. The characters all have different mana pools. Egan is like the second highest, with Cygnus being the highest by another 10. Yeah, so you can see we're kind of rolling with the punches here. All right, now let's watch the Knockup here. So they stay in the air quite a bit longer compared to that, but remember, they still have to get up. So they're you know, standing animation still has to happen, whether they get knocked down with this or with this. Let's try and knock him down again. There we go. But it costs a lot of mana to do this. So here what we're going to do. We're going to jump off the edge. We're going to get our mana back. We're going to see how many casts we have. This one as well. Without the level upgrade. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's crazy, dude. That's like half, man. So basically, yeah. The mana is definitely worth it if you're going to use a secondary, especially if you have something else to use mana with, like Stone Staff, for example, the Ice Amulet, anything else that you're going to kind of roll mana with, or the Flame Bracer. You're probably going to want to rush the level upgrades early on. Of course, obviously, later on you get too many skulls to do anything with it, but yeah, so that's the difference. The difference between the Knockup, you know, really, realistically, I just don't see the purpose of the Knockup, you know, but anyways. So yeah, that's it for the Bladestaff. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow us from YouTube and Twitch, and I'll see you on the flip side. Deuces.